All right, roller coaster Josh Allen and the Bills snuck out a 3-point win at home versus Skylar
Uh-huh.
Thompson. Burrow and the Bengals didn't look too much better though,
Yeah.
as they were a tip pass away from getting to overtime versus Tyler Huntley.
Uh-huh.
This is great news for the Chiefs. The Bills and the Bengals look like the shakiest teams left in the playoffs.
Well, I'm not going to go with the shakiest teams left, but let's start with the Bengals, then we'll get to the Bills.
Okay.
That game going the way it did was so incredibly predictable. And listen, I said I thought the Ravens could win the game outright,
Right.
and the Ravens outplayed them. Give the Bengals credit. The 14-point swing, you can't overcome it, but the Ravens almost did overcome it.
Right.
Even if he just quarterback sneaks there and gets stuffed instead of leaping like a dope, even if they go for it on fourth down and don't get it,
Right.
I believe the Ravens win the game. Because then it's 17-17, and the Bengals offense was doing nothing, and you haven't backed them off the inch line. If they decide to kick the field goal there, I think they win it. The only way for them to lose that game was what happened. A fumble and the fumble return for a touchdown. But the Bengals' turnover luck in their postseasons over the last 2 years is unbelievable. Last year in 4 playoff games, they forced 9 turnovers, committed 2. Yesterday, they forced 2 turnovers, committed 1. One of those turnovers they returned for a touchdown. And Joe Mixon, who said they're the big dogs of the AFC, had a bad game. But the Ravens defense deserves credit. Obviously, with better quarterback play, they win the game, but the Bengals survive in advance. But it was a costly victory because that offensive line got more banged up in the game. Their left tackle, Jonah Williams, who hasn't been good this year, but he's still their starting left tackle.
Right.
He ended up going out with injury. That is a very expensive win for the Cincinnati Bengals. Then we get to the Bills. That would have been one of the worst losses in NFL history. That would have been worse than the Chargers loss.
Yeah.
You're playing Skylar Thompson. He is shaky at best. The stars on the Dolphins are shaky at best as far as dropping passes. And Josh Allen, by himself, kept the Dolphins in that game. Josh Allen did everything he could to find a way to lose that football game. On the season, Josh Allen now has 32 interceptions and fumbles. No one else in the league has more than 28. Matt Ryan had 28. Justin Fields had 27. That's a second-year player and a fossil that got benched. Josh Allen fumbled the ball 3 times, including 1 return for a touchdown that flipped the game, threw 2 interceptions, and wouldn't stop throwing these insane bombs down the field. Yeah. He threw more bombs, 20-plus air yards down the field in that game than any quarterback has thrown in any game
Miami
all
was
year.
Giving it to him, though.
But he wasn't he completed 1 great one early in the game and then wouldn't go away from it. He just can't help himself. And it is very difficult if you're a Bills fan. Here's your concern. Josh Allen was a turnover machine until Brian Daboll got there. Then he cleaned it all up, played the best football of his life. Brian Daboll left. He's a turnover machine again. Daniel Jones was a turnover machine. Brian Daboll got there, and he cleaned it up entirely. Daniel Jones, we'll talk about him in his game in a moment. Not only did he have a great playoff game, he led the league in lowest interception rate this year. Clean 1.1% interception rate this season.
Okay.
So there are.
Would you take Trevor Lawrence over Josh Allen?
So here's the thing on that. I don't know how. My pause is not because I'm debating the question. My pause is because I'm trying to figure out how to best explain the answer. I don't know how you can see this level of carelessness from Josh Allen at this point in his career and think it's ever going to go away. This is his 5th season. He's played nearly 100 games in this league. Or maybe he's played exactly 100, thereabouts. How can you possibly think that, no, this is going to stop? It's not going to stop. Now, it's odd for me to then say you don't have to worry about the Trevor when he just obviously had a 4-interception playoff game. But Trevor Lawrence is on a skyward trajectory. And Trevor Lawrence, to me, is not nearly as much of an injury risk as Josh Allen because he's damn near as big as him.
Right.
And he doesn't play that style. So if I were saying
you're looking for a quarterback to build around, you're picking Trevor
if I
Lawrence.
were saying quarterbacks you can have for the next decade, I would go Mahomes, a clear 1. Burrow, Lawrence, 2, 3. And then Josh Allen, 4. I think that's, and then after Josh Allen, you would have Herbert, and then we'll see what Jalen Hurts looks like in the playoffs. But it is that game, you're up 17-0 against a third-string quarterback at home. Their team is playing terribly. And Josh Allen forced them back into the game. There's no disputing that. There's no arguing that. He could have had 5 turnovers. He fumbled the ball 3 times, including early in the game when he just kind of like threw it forward. Like, what are you doing? At his core, he is still the guy who in his first career playoff game was running up the sideline and just blindly threw the ball backwards over his head. And his career playoff numbers look really good, but it's misleading because Josh Allen, this is what he has done game by game. First playoff game of his career, the one he threw the ball backwards over his head. No touchdowns, a rating below 70, 2 fumbles. His second career playoff game, sensational against the Colts, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, a 121 rating, 1 fumble. His third playoff game against the Ravens, mediocre, 1 touchdown, no picks, 1 fumble, and 86 rating. His third career playoff game against the Chiefs, mediocre, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and 81 rating. Then his fifth career playoff game, perfect. Patriots, 5 touchdowns, 0 picks, a 158 passer rating. His next playoff game against the Chiefs, perfect except he lost. 4 touchdowns, 0 picks, a 136 rating. And then yesterday against the Dolphins, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, a 93 rating, and 3 fumbles. So if you remove, and again, it's not fair to remove, but let's just do it like this. In his career, he's played 7 playoff games. He's been sensational in 3 of them and below average in the other 4. But he was so good in those 3 that his career playoff numbers look like they're all-time great. But it's really the Chiefs and the Patriots game that are doing all the work there. Aside from those 2 games, the Chiefs-Patriots game, one of which he lost, by the way, he has, in his other 5 career playoff games, a passer rating below 90. He has 7 passing touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and 7 fumbles.
Okay.
7 touchdowns, 3 picks, and 7 fumbles in the other 5 games.
Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show, and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.